All right, guys. So a few people on Facebook and YouTube and other places have messaged me asking about this new Can-Am lineup that just got released, and they want me to make a video on it. So I'm going to do a quick one, talk through some of the specs that I know of. I am kind of excited about it. Obviously, it's a belt drive, so can't get too excited about it. But it does seem pretty cool. It does fix a few of the things I didn't like about the current Can-Am model listing. So I guess the first thing to tell you is why I'm excited about it. The Outlander XMR 700 is obviously what I'd get. Radiator's relocated from the factory. It's very well shielded, snorkeled from the factory, all that stuff. And it has a really good starting price of $10,000. Who knows what they're going to be at the dealership for? You're going to have a delivery fee on top of that. The surcharge, where the heck that is, just add that in for us already. But it's pretty cool. And why do I think it's pretty cool? All right, let's go through this page right here. So if we click on the actual one, see what they tell us. It's, snorkeled, ready to relocate. It's got the Visco forelock, which is what my 2022 XMR 1000 had, which means it's got a real locker on top of the Visco. Only way to go with these Can-Ams, Visco lock is dead. They really need to stop making it. But this lower price point one does get the Visco forelock. Most importantly, it gets something that the current Outlander 850 does not have. If we scroll down here, extra low gear. That's huge. The current Outlander 850 XMR has the same low gearing as your run-of-the-mill cheapo stock 570 non-XMR Outlander. I've made that point in a million videos. No one believes me. I've gone through and shown you the part numbers in the transmission. The current 850 XMR does not have a reduction in the transmission for low range. That is stupid. Can-Am messed that up. Everyone wants the Outlander because the radiator's factory relocated. It's got better mud coverage than the Renegade, but we all end up on the Renegade 1000 to get the low gear. We don't have to do that anymore. This has the low gear. So that's why I'm excited about it. It's got the extra low gear and it's got the front locker. Now, how low is this gear? Oh, I don't know. It says extra low. As soon as the parts diagrams come out, I'll get the teeth counts and I'll calculate it. But very cool that it's got those two things. Now, what don't I like about it? Well, one of the great things about Can-Ams forever is that they had really good rear clearance because of the trailing arm suspension. I didn't really love the ride and the dynamics of it. When we were on a wheelie, it did weird stuff, but the clearance was awesome. If we go over to the spec sheet, this is very interesting. We can see down here that it says rear suspension is double A-arm. 10 inches of travel, that's pretty good, but double A-arm, what? That's not very Can-Am. That's what you get on like a Rubicon or a Grizzly, well, actually every other ATV out there. And what that means is that you're going to lose some rear clearance. So that's kind of lame. Let me pull up a video where I can show you how much rear clearance you lose. I think this guy has it in this little walk around here. I'm going to poach some of this. We'll go around to the back of the machine. So, with a real Can-Am, or an old Can-Am, you don't have all these big brackets hanging off here. You don't have these lower control arms at all. The axle was the lowest point in the rear. So you lost a ton of clearance down here. Now they went to this suspension because it's better riding, stability, handling. It keeps better wheel geometry. I'm sure they had a ton of good reasons to go to it. But ground clearance was not one of them. So that's kind of lame. Another thing that is disappointing, if we go back to the spec sheet, is it only has 50 horsepower. So that's a big drop in horsepower from the current V-twin Outlander 850. Why did you lose so much horsepower? Well, first of all, they're calling it a 700, but it's really only a 650. And it's a single cylinder, so you got half as many valves. You're going to have less power, less, thermodynamic efficiency, bigger thumper piston. There's a lot of different reasons, but it's got less power. So that's a little disappointing, but I think it's made up for by the extra low gear because the 850s are famous for burning belts. They got all that power. They got no gears. The only way to make a belt drive work in the mud is to give it low gears. These tires this thing comes on, those are pretty cool. I like that. They look like what's on the XMR side-by-sides right now, these Swamp Kings. So that's cool. Single rear disc brake. Let's see if we can see where that brake is in this video. Is it a pinion brake? Nope, that's the brake line right there. So it's just got one brake in one of the wheels. That's typical Can-Am fashion. What else to say? Oh yeah, No winch on the XMR, but a lot of the other models have a winch. That doesn't make any sense at all. This sucker's heavy. K&M always lies about their weight, but they're saying dry. It's on just under 900 pounds. That's pretty lame. It says 13 inches of ground clearance. Doesn't look that impressive from the rear. The way those A-arms hang down. So in the center you get pretty good clearance, but those A-arms are really not maximizing clearance super well. Like the arched arms on the Grizzly really do a nice job maximizing clearance. But yeah, so pretty cool. I'll probably get one once they become available, as long as I can verify that this low range ratio is similar to the XMR 1000s. So hopefully K&M did a good job and gave us plenty of low gear there, and I'll probably have to check one of these out, even though it's a dirt piece of junk belt drive. So here's the Outlander Pros. These also have the Visco 4-lock, which is cool. Intelligent engine braking, that's a new thing K&M's doing. I don't really give a shit about that. But this one has 2 engine options, that same 50 horsepower, and then a lower 40 horsepower. Interesting, they're both 650s, so I don't know if the difference is like a tune there or what. Yeah, not really that much to say over here. I think we already talked all that. So did I have anything else to show you? Let me go back to Chrome. We already showed you that. Oh yeah, so if we looked at all the different prices, I think your most expensive one is right here at $11K, and that's the max, so it's got the 2-up, stretched wheelbase. But it has a winch, which is great. You don't get that on these other ones. But it only has the Visco lock differential. There's no 4-lock. So I would not even consider any of these models that don't have 4-lock. 4-lock is 100% the way to go, in my opinion. What's interesting is that when you look at the spec sheets I just pulled up, it says this one has 4-lock, the Pro HD. Yeah, 4-lock. But when you look on over here, the Pro doesn't show up here. So I don't know, whatever. Their website's still kind of weird. This just got released. They're calling it a 2023. They're not going to hit the dealerships for a little while, so I'm going to call it a 2024. I'm curious how many of these are actually going to be sold with 2023 stamped on the frame. But it is cool that they're updating the ATV segment. ATVs don't get much attention these days. All the focus is on the side-by-sides. That's where the big money is. That's what everyone's into because of the user-friendliness and the overall just laziness of Americans. I obviously love ATVs, and I haven't had one in a little while because there's been nothing new to test. So definitely test this out and see how it is. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comments. And yeah, if you want more content like this, I usually post these videos only on the Patreon page, but enough people have asked for this one, so I'm going to actually upload it and make it public on YouTube as well.